Yeah. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from Hawaiian Paradise Park on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. Hooray. Yay. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy that you're joining me today. I have some fun stuff to get into. I have some fun questions and different stuff. First thing that's coming to mind to talk about though is cause and effect. Okay, there's only one cause, and that's the mind. Okay, and that makes all the effects that we perceive. Everything that we think we see, that's effects of the mind. Okay, there's nothing that comes from anywhere else ever. Okay, we're just pretending. It's okay to say that, because people aren't gonna understand you or be able to communicate with you or anything like that. But knowing that it's not true, all the cause and effect that we perceive, we can kind of like perceive, okay, this is working. I say kind of like perceive, because we're not making sense of anything. We're making no sense. Okay. So it's kind of like, what's it called? Trial and error. We try some stuff out, and then we realize, oh, this is working. Well, it's working for the moment, and that could change. Okay, it's working for the moment. That doesn't mean it works all the time. That doesn't mean it works for everyone, right? So I was cruising Facebook and I happened to see a post from one of my friends talking about how one particular star, I guess Joe Rogan, and saying how Joe Rogan, he's a Spotify guy. I think, he's been around for a long time. I remember him when I was in my 20s and stuff. And he was saying, I don't know if it was a guy or girl. One of my friends was talking about how Joe Rogan, look at him, he's aged so much. It must be because he eats meat. Okay. See, here's the thing. When you make cause and effect real like that, you make your body vulnerable. It makes your body vulnerable. Don't be believing that. You don't have to believe that bodies are vulnerable. You don't have to believe in that. That's what makes them vulnerable to apparent effects, because the mind is making these illusions based on what we believe. So yeah, you have to totally deny what you think you see. What you think you see is the result of wanting to believe that you can live in a world that rules you. That's not possible. You always rule the world. You lead yourself to believe that the world rules you when you take these cause and effects things to be your reality. There's no way one thing, I mean, how could it? It doesn't make any sense. It's not even one bit reasonable. We know, like as a society, we know that this is projected from the mind. We just keep on acting like it's not, right? I don't know if this is trickled down to every single individual or whatever, but it's like our scientific community knows. And we're just acting like that the cause and effect that we think we see is still true. But, nothing's changed. We're still in total command of this thing. Okay. That doesn't mean, and, of course, the ego is going to pipe and go, I thought you said I don't have any choice and stuff like that. Yeah, you don't have any choice between the illusions. And you know what? You can't control what's going to apparently happen to you or to anyone else. Dominion has to do with your reaction to everything that you think you see, because it is a dream. So if you're vulnerable to illusions, you're making yourself vulnerable to illusions in a dream, you're making it so that your emotions are being pulled around all over the place. Oh no, now this is happening. If something can affect someone else, like say Joe Rogan, if meat can make him age really fast, then something in the illusion can do something to you. And the thing is, when you believe something like that, you actually project fear, because you're afraid that the same kind of thing is going to happen to you. What you thought you saw happen to another person, you're afraid that it's going to happen to you. So that's what people try to, prevent that from happening by developing concepts around things. It's one thing, you're not drawn to meat. Okay, fine. But you make a concept and believe in a concept that says that other people who eat this way, maybe it's smoking, maybe it's drinking, whatever you make it, the thing is, all of these things are really nothing and they can't have any effect on anyone. So just watch. It doesn't mean you have to change your language or try not to say anything specifically. Just watch on how it's being projected as if cause and effect could be real in the world. There is a cause, and the cause of the world is fear. Okay, and by embracing everything that you think you see, the fearful things that you made with love, that is also a cause. That will have its cause. Okay, and in love, you don't mind what the perception shows you. In love, that's not a thing. Whatever the perception shows you, your function is always the same, and that's loving, which is the same as forgiving your illusions. All the things that you perceive, even if you think someone else is delusional, it's your illusion. And we're always projecting all the time. There's so much different things to watch that, if you're focused on what regret or what choice you're going to make in the world, you never have to think about what choice you're going to make. You don't have to go back and forth, because the making of the choice is completely involuntary. Okay. It's like you're compulsively making a choice. And you know what the funny thing is? When you're agonizing over a potential choice, like, some choices, they might seem really important, right? Like if I make the wrong choice, I could really screw up. Or if I make the right choice, I could really get a good benefit. So when we're agonizing over a choice, it actually causes us to make a choice for fear. Okay, so that's like setting yourself up, and then to think you see the effects of your choice. There's no effects of any choice. Thinking you see the effects of your choice and causing you suffering because you think you actually did it. And it's like a mirage. Like the body is like a mirage. Okay, it's always so changeful. Like, I notice, like, one day I can look at it and it'll look a certain way. Maybe I'll be feeling like, wow, it's looking fucking good today, right? And then another day I check it out, I'm like, why? How did that fucker get so old so fast, right? Like, and that could just like hook you. It really depends on what your triggers are, because we all have different triggers, but it's really all the same. So, you might look at someone's triggers like, oh, that's just vain. Oh, you're worried about how you look. Oh, that's just vain. Well, it's all vanity. Anything you worry about, that's vanity. So it doesn't really matter, and we're all wired differently as far as what we have the propensity to worry about. Right. So none of it's right or wrong or anything. It's just that when you find yourself worrying or agonizing over anything, and a lot of the times, and I'm speaking from experience, you don't even notice you're agonizing. It might take a little time. It's okay. It might take a little bit of time. It might take a couple hours, might take a couple days, it might take weeks before you go, holy shit, I've been agonizing over nothing. Now I see. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Now I see. Right. So it's not anything to hold against yourself when you are agonizing over something in the world. Just know that you're making a mistake. You're basing that on your interpretation of a world that's meaningless. Okay. It's set up to be antagonistic to you. That's how you set it up. That's why the way to healing it is forgiving the illusions you made, so you can see that it's only you antagonizing yourself. And then you blame it on the world so you can keep antagonizing yourself in secret, right? That way you can keep on blaming the world, keep on projecting and blaming the world, and you're never the wiser. the time just keeps on projecting and the illusion keeps on going forward. And you're like, why is the illusion going forward? Why are all these things happening? The thing is, whenever you ask why, you're mistaken again. You're being misled, right? It's always the why question is always like fishing for a guilt concept. What did I do? What did I do to get this? What did I do to deserve this? Whatever it seems to be that you think is bad or good. That could be the same way. You don't do anything. You're never capable of doing anything. Whatever seems to be is perfect for you because of what it's for. Oh, Nael. Nael, you're on here. You're the one who was talking about Joe Rogan, I think. I may be mistaken about that. But I was just talking about that. About the thing like cause and effect, right? Yes. Okay, good. I don't know if you joined me while I was talking about it or you came on a little bit later. But basically, cause and effect aren't real. So anytime we make it real, as in, like, you're saying Joe Rogan, I don't know if it was you, it might have been a comment. I don't even pay attention too much. Like if he eats meat and that makes him old, that is a concept that hurts you basically, because it makes your body vulnerable to illusions. Okay. It's the same thing as saying a drunk driver can kill you, right? It's like, if you set yourself up like that, you make yourself vulnerable. And you know what? You make everyone else vulnerable too, because they are also in your dream. And the cause and effect that you put forward as far as thinking manifests in the dream. So it's always thinking that does everything. Any aging effect, anything like that, it's always thinking. And you know whose thinking it is that makes you perceive aging on another person? It's yours. That's the trippy ass thing. It's yours. They don't look like what it seems. They don't look like what they seem to look like. It's really interesting. That's why I tell people, thank you for looking at me like that. Whatever they happen to be saying. One of my friends, he's so funny. He comes over, maybe it was a few years ago or something. And he's like, wow, you look older. And I'm like, thank you for looking at me like that. And I'm getting back and forth. So, someone saying, oh, Anne just told me I look great. Thanks, Anne. Woo, and it's like, oh, thanks for looking at me like that, because it's us looking that's making the effects. And see, if we won't be willing to look past what we're making of other people, we're not escaping the illusion ourselves. We can't escape without them. We have to let them free of the cause and effect that we're making real, so that we can see through it. That's what we really want. We want to see through that. And this is all what's going on is these apparent causes and apparent effects in the world. And we keep on projecting them forward. So, for me, I know it's not the easiest thing to see. And, certainly it's not the easiest thing to do, because we have been so conditioned, pretty much mind fucked with this ego programming, that these bad things can happen to us. Look at people walking around stifling their breath. Okay. Because the idea that we can transfer diseases to each other, and that's a common, like, people just really are committed to that one, that you can have, you can transfer diseases between each other, even though the science has actually proven that that's not true. Like, they have done tests, they have done scientific studies, randomized controlled trials is what they're called. That's supposed to be the highest value study. And they're doing gnarly shit where they're having like people with the cold, like hawk loogies in other people's mouths to try to prove that viruses can be transferred between bodies. And guess what they came up with? No evidence that they're transferred between bodies. See, so we're totally making it up, and we're going off of a old conditioning that we wanted a world that rules us, because we thought we were not worthy of a world that we rule in love. We just thought we weren't worthy because we made such a grave mistake And that's the way a lot of people go through life too. They're afraid of making some grave mistake that's going to ruin them. And a lot of people think that they already have made that grave mistake and they're just ruined. Okay. And this is kind of like an under the surface kind of belief. And that's why we're gripping to the world. That's why we want to see cause and effect in the world. We want to make it real. And you know what? We have to make it real over and over and over again. That's the only way we can prop up this world, is to make these illusory cause and effect dream images true. They're not true though. Lori, okay, so many people in my life have been telling me about their health troubles. That's great, Lori. That's really good. My dad apparently has COVID. I know, that's so funny. I actually had a customer tell me she had COVID. It was so fun because you know, the customer, I'm getting the hit that the customer probably isn't open to wisdom dialogue kind stuff, because I didn't feel like, well, nothing was coming out like that, basically. And then she told me, she's so sweet. She texts me pictures of herself and stuff. And I guess her guru, who passed away recently, really liked Miracle Botanical. So she said she's loyal to our company for life. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. It's really sweet. So then we had some calls, a couple calls. And then at one point she's like, well, I took the test. I go, you took the test? And she goes, yep, I got it. I got the vid. And I just go, oh, okay, well, awesome. She goes like, yeah, it is awesome, you know. But it's like, I didn't tell her you don't have COVID or something like that, which I would to Leah. If Leah said I have COVID, or Akea or Chitta said I have COVID, I'm like, no, you don't. Right. And it's not because this person is a client. It doesn't have something to do with that, because things will fly out to clients too. It's just a matter of openness. Where the person is open, where it's maximally healing, it's going to come out like that. So yeah, I know what you mean. And it was just like, you know, just being really light with everything, because people they think they have COVID, and it's like, and it's kind of an exciting thing for them. Like, it's kind of like special, you know. Even with all the shots and boosters, you know what I'm having a perception of, and you know, of course, I deny truth to this perception. And here's how I do it: I get the perception that people are dying and getting cancer and all this other stuff who have been shot up with the COVID. They call it a vaccine. I don't think it's a vaccine. I don't know what it is. Some kind of injection, some kind of poisonous injection, apparently. So yeah, I'm getting the perception. And you know, I just got some news flash today. I don't know how it comes in on the phone or something, that said something about insurance companies, life insurance companies, having paid out a whole lot more last year, like due to not COVID, but like cancer and stuff like that. So like different stuff. So here's the thing. Also, it seems that the ones with the COVID shots and boosters keep on getting COVID. That's the same kind of thing. Deny any truth to that. You know, it's like it's like who I am, because I'm the perceiver. I'm the one who can heal anything as soon as I change my mind. Okay, that's the way to look at it. Don't worry about time or how much time it seems to take or whatever. You'll see that you are immediately uplifted when you're willing to look like that, when you're willing to look at it like that, in that way. It's like, look, I'm getting the perception here. Boy, it sure does look true that everyone who gets his COVID shots, and not everyone, but everyone who gets sick has gotten that shot, apparently. That's the information that's coming to me. That doesn't mean anything, because it's a meaningless world. Does it mean I'm probably going to run out and get the booster? Probably not. Or any shot? Probably not. But then I don't have a choice in that either. So I'm not going to start making myself vulnerable to illusions by projecting that people who get a COVID shot are the ones who are getting sick. That's the perception that I think I see. But the thing is, my worthiness can heal anything. Okay, so it's back to worthiness again, right? So we're not projecting that cause and effect are true. Okay. Another friend has sometimes wrong. You probably mean something else, that the docs can't. Oh, has something wrong and the docs can't find anything wrong. She's very stressed out. How do you deal, or what do you say? Okay, so you know, Lori, you've been hanging out with me for quite a long time. I don't ever give advice on what you should say because I don't know what's being called forth in the moment. And because what's being called forth in the moment is always maximally healing, I don't know what the right thing to say is because it's not in that moment, right? Like whatever, I know whatever's coming out of my mouth right now is maximally healing, but I don't sit around and decide what's going to come out of my mouth later on. Okay. So it's for you. It's not when you take your attention off of what you should say and put your attention on how you feel. See, you start to notice how you feel. What reaction are you getting? Are you feeling pressure that it's time to say something, or that you need to know whether to say anything, what to say, whether to say, anything that you think you need to know that you don't happen to know right now, right? That's something to look at. Look at your reaction to that, because you're making it up that there's a sick person. Or maybe you're making it up, you're just making it up that a person's telling you you're sick, they're sick. You don't really believe it, but you're making up that a person's telling you you're sick, and now telling you they're sick, and now you feel like you're supposed to perform something. It's not like that. It's more like you're reacting to whatever you're projecting. So in that, you can get the forgiveness for yourself, and that's what extends forward. Okay. I seem to always say things to try and focus on the positive, but I have projected them sick. Yes, that's right. That's right. So, you know, just to give you like like kind of like the vibe of it, it's kind of like, oh, well, how's that going? Or, oh, like for me, I mean, I told my client, oh, awesome. She's like, yeah, now I get to stay home from work for like 2 weeks. I'm like, cool. Yes, being light with that, all of it. So being light with yourself as far as how you're supposed to perform in your mind, something that you made up about how you should be performing. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Okay, so I'm going to go to this one that I have from my sweet friend Anne. Anne, you are freaking fun. I don't know if you're watching or listening right now. You are one fun broad. Okay, so she wrote me this big old long thing, and I wrote a response back, but I was like, I got to take this in person so I could just like let some words fly out like a mofo. How does one, here's the question, how does one experience a human relationship without becoming attached to the body? Well, that's just the thing, because, you know, in human relationship, the attachment is automatic. So the one attached is not who you are. The one attached is the one you made with the ego, right? So in watching attachment is holding it lightly. Okay, that's just how it is. You know, the ego gets attached. The ego is all about suffering. You don't get attached. You never get attached to your relationships. So you don't have to suffer over the ego's attachment, except that you feel like you shouldn't get attached. You shouldn't be getting attached. So then you start suffering over it. There is indeed a recognition that what is attached isn't really the self. See, she knows this shit before I even say it. So maybe it just doesn't matter. Right. It's meaningless. Right. She put a question mark on that. Yes, it's meaningless. Seems as if there is any sort of physical affection as if there is any, okay, whenever there's physical affection in a connection, especially romantic, it seems like it's impossible to experience the relationship without body and ego attachment. And also there is just more identification and separation that seems to happen through the connection, even moving consciously. Yes. Yes. Okay. Because when you have a romantic, and even friends do this too, but in romantic, it seems to be intensified, but you know, depending on how your relationship is, this could be parent and child. This could be brother and sister. This could be really good friends. All kinds of different relationships where it seems like it's impossible not to get attached. And, you know, when you're aware of the attachment, then you're experiencing it without identification and separation. I mean, aware of the attachment in a way where you're aware that it's not you that's attached in the first place. But when you're making the attachment problematic, that itself is attachment. When you're making it problematic. So see how we tend to make it problematic, that we seem to get attached. Like, you know, why can't it be just be like, oh, I feel attached. Wow, I feel attached to you. This is fun. Probably if you break up with me, I'm gonna cry. That's gonna be awesome. Thanks in advance. Because I'm making it all up. You're not capable of doing anything. You know, I've dated people before, and even not even just dating, like since I've been with Tony so long, you know, I can't like, well, I could and I can't, because I don't have a choice in it, but I'm not drawn to dating around when I have a husband. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But you know, I've had friends come in where I can sense the vibe that there's an attachment energy and that there's going to be a sense of getting hurt. And I'm just like, hooray. Hooray. I'm open for that. I'm just open for whatever it is. I don't have a choice in whether or not I'm going into relationship with this person. Why am I going to resist it? You know, and then when it does come up and I do feel hurt, it's like blaming them is out of the question. I've already seen I'm setting myself up for it. Just notice you're setting yourself up for it. Don't be afraid of setting yourself up for it though, because these relationships are exactly how we guide each other home. It's kind of like we hold each other's hands in these relationships, no matter how they look. Doesn't matter what they look like. They could be sour, they could be brutal, they could be abusive. It doesn't matter. These relationships have one purpose. Okay, we're doing this together. So if we're in resistance to the relationships that are being formed for our benefit, we cannot accept the healing or see the opportunity for healing that's being presented to us through the relating. You know, because we're anxious. We're spending time. What's that thing where you rip the petals off a flower? He loves me not. He loves me not. It's like, who gives a shit? Keep the flower intact. It's way better like that. We'll just see. Okay. Now, in some situations over time, I know, Niall, you got this too, where you know, over time, you know, you see your partner over and over again, and man, they are just they're fucking solid. At least they seem like that. You still don't know. You still really don't know. So it's still about keeping an open hand. And I notice when we get into real close relationships like this, like me and Tony, or, you know, not Elle, you and Amy, even Akea, you and Kana, you've been together for a while too. You know, and you get in close relationship like that, and you know, you go, wow, this person is just like so great. You know, it's so wonderful hanging out with them. Our relationship is so smooth and everything. You know, there's a sense where, oh my God, what if I lose them? Like, what if they die or something like that? So it's like a constant, you have to take care of your mind in this, that these people that you're perceiving, they're birthing out of your mind. They're being formed out of your beliefs. They're not really there like that. They're real, all right, but not the way you think you see them. It seems as if I have finally released an old connection and watching the mind want to connect to a new one, but only ever in the mind. Yeah, that's it. Another thing. It's always another thing. It's always another thing to hook you. And look, new relationships. Oh my goodness. You can't help it if you go into a new relationship or not. But man, that takes you on a wild ride, usually, unless you're really aware of what's going on there, because there's so much mental energy that goes on with something like that. Even friendships, it's a trip. It's like it's always like, that's the way it's set up. And I'm not saying resist new relationships or anything like that. Just be on alert. Just be on alert that, you know, your mind's wild when you have a human interaction, and especially with new people or some old people that you've been hanging around with. seem to be triggering you, which, that gets projected all the time, that someone's doing something to you. It's so sweet. The avatar seems to be patterned in unrequited love affairs. That's such a common one too. Even if they come together physically, the relationship can't seem to last for years after it is over in the can seem to last for years after it's over in the physical. I know what you mean. Definitely know what you mean, because when you are, every time you're having a thought cross your mind about that person, you're basically projecting, and you're giving an opportunity to communicate. See, you're always given an opportunity to communicate. Communication happens when you realize that you're projecting in the moment you're projecting. When you'll acknowledge anytime they cross your mind. That's why it seems the relating keeps on going, because you're not recognizing and acknowledging that I'm projecting this to get this feeling. That's all. It means nothing more than this. There seems to be a lot of avoidance of human contact because it just ends in death and attachment anyway. So then why bother? Yeah, that's the ego coming out with that kind of comment. Yeah, because if you're avoiding something, then you're trying to avoid your lessons, and that's totally mental, where you avoid your lessons. Okay. And you're still going to come in contact with people. You're still going to be in relationship, most likely, unless you're a monk living in a cave somewhere and that's your trajectory. But most likely you're still going to meet people. You know why? Because you need them. Not in the way that, that Barbara Streisand saying, I don't know what she really meant by that, but people who need people. It's not like you're people. It's like you need them because they are your salvation. Okay. They are your salvation. Everyone who comes into your experience is that to you. And, when you get triggered by them, you think that they're separate. You start projecting they're separate. Anytime you're triggered, you're projecting separation. So you're not welcoming them into your heart. You're trying to make them separate, as if they're a cause of your pain. You need the attachment. You need these relationships, and you need to go through the hurt because you're hurting yourself. Okay. You're hurting yourself. And that's just basically how it is. We're perceiving a body, we're hurting ourselves. And I give people some, different techniques. One of them recently has been block therapy that I've been into, where you access the pain before it has to manifest in the physical. And who knows, maybe you don't have to go round and round with so much suffering if you're willing to access the pain that's already there, buried in the body sense. It's just buried there waiting to be discovered. And, for the most part, it gets discovered by projecting. So that's okay too.
Sorry to interrupt. Fresh coconut cream.
Fresh coconut cream? Oh, thank you. You can interrupt with that. Thanks, honey. Fresh coconut cream. And you got to try this. Freaking good. It's really good and fresh. So he takes a coconut, like a brown coconut, a hard coconut, right? And he puts it through a masticating juicer. And then it comes out as this cream. It's just like, oh my God. Oh, okay. Now, question: how do I deal with my Karen neighbor? I hate her. You're fucking awesome. I'm a good neighbor. Of course you are. That's the face you painted over yourself, right? I'm the good neighbor and she's the shitty neighbor. Meanwhile, it's all you. It's good stuff. I am a good neighbor, and it bothers me that the quiet hours are 10 p.m. This bitch is out by 9 p.m. and I don't play loud music. This bitch is out by, I don't play loud music, but I don't have company over because of keeping the peace, contemplating moving, or being an asshole. Akea said hi to you, honey. Akea is my daughter. Her dad just brought me the coconut cream, in case you don't know what's going on there. He's also my man at the moment. And for 28 years, apparently. Okay. Oh yeah, eating. That doesn't work while I'm talking. You got to deal with your hatred, anger. Okay. There's anger coming up. And I'm glad it's coming out. I'm glad you had it come out in wisdom dialogue saying, I hate her. You don't really hate her. You hate yourself. I had to take another bite. It's over here now. Anne's going to be eating it. You hate yourself. That's why you're getting a perception of a neighbor that you hate. Okay. This is just like anything else. You're getting a reaction when you perceive the neighbor being a bad neighbor. You're getting a reaction. And this is the reaction that you've been giving yourself over and over and over again to make it seem like you live in a world that rules you. You don't want Karen to be ruling you, right? You want to be ruling Karen, right? How does that look? You can only rule in love. There's no other way to rule. So when you get the perception that she's doing something crazy to you, you know, this reminds me of, and what is coming up for me is that one where I had the geothermal drilling into the ground, like right at my property line. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night because they didn't give a shit. They would run the drill all night long. They didn't care that there were people living there. They just said, send us a letter and say, hey, sorry, neighbors, we got to do this for 6 months. We don't have another choice. So I'd wake up in the middle of the night and seem to be awake because I got woken up by the drilling. The drilling would like shake the house, apparently, shake the house and be loud. Okay. So I was like, oh, this is it. And this is how it is with your Karen too. It's just the same way. Oh, this is it. This is the opportunity. Kind of like a little red flag goes up and it's like, yay, here it is. I'm so glad I know that this is an opportunity right now. And I'm not going to pretend like whatever I'm feeling is because of Karen, right? Her name isn't really Karen. We're just calling her Karen. Karen's in quotes. I don't know what her name is. Yeah, you don't have company over. Okay, you don't have company over. You don't have company over. It seems like it's because of Karen. It's not. It's not. Just be honest with yourself, okay? If you're feeling like this, like hatred toward Karen, you have an anger issue. All right, you're not really angry. You're not even capable of getting angry. You just believe that angry thoughts are true over and over again, and that causes you to react in anger. Okay, so it's just like in my case, the geothermal, and also I know you've heard the story before about the electric guitar. The guy who didn't know how to play electric guitar very well, but he knew how to play it very loud. Okay, he was good at that. He was good at making it loud. It did not sound good to me, but you know, it seemed like, whoa, this guy is such a fucking asshole. And you know, a bunch of my neighbors had been over there to bitch him out, right? Yeah, Charlie, that's it. Okay, I knows. A bunch of my neighbors had already been over there to bitch him out a bunch of times. Didn't work out very well for them. And you know, it's like these things that seem like they're antagonistic to you. What I do with them is I lay down, like physically. That's what I did back then anyways. I laid down and feel what it feels like to be projecting that. Just feeling what it feels like. And, you know, I come into such a calm space with it that it actually doesn't affect me anymore. You know, it's like our neighbor would play the loud music. It stopped affecting me in one session where I was just laying down. I was actually laying down already, going for a nap. It felt like I really needed a nap. Oh, I'm in bed. Oh, and then it's just like, oh my God. And it's like, ah. And then just in recognizing what it is, I fell asleep with it on. Same thing with the geothermal drilling. It just becomes like white noise, like background. So your Karen neighbor just becomes like white noise, like background, and it doesn't affect you. So as long as it's affecting you, she's giving you an opportunity. So also gratitude to the person for whatever they seem to be doing. Total gratitude to them. That helps so much. Your neighbors are never being rude. They're always being your savior, if you'll accept that. Let's see. I don't get attached. Back to Anne's message. I don't get attached to my massage therapist, but if I cuddle with you, it's going to seem to hurt because the attachment gets activated in that scenario. Great. Be willing to go through it again and again and again. Remember, in a couple back, I don't know, may have only been one back, I said, and I'm willing to get scammed 60,000 times or however many times that takes for me to wake up, because that's what it's about. It's about waking up. That's what it's all for. There seems to be a craving for human contact. Yep, that's what I mean. You can't help it. Not desperately, but it's a longing that shows itself from time to time. Yep, because you need the lessons. Make it seem as if human contact is actually more of an addiction than any kind of healthy endeavor. Your thinking is an addiction. Okay? Human contact, that can't be addictive, but your thinking about it is quite addictive. I think that's revealing itself right here. Because, you know, this sense, like, I just always get hurt and all this other stuff, it's addictive. Okay? Watch what you're doing, because you're doing it to yourself. You'll do it to yourself whether you manifest the body or not to do it on. But you'll do it to yourself anyways. Why pick up the needle again? You can't help it. So you don't have a choice in it. So that's a illusory why. It's an ego why. Okay. What do I even want any relationship for? You want it for healing. What do you want anything for? You want it for healing. You want it so that you can use your reactions to see through what you're making of yourself. Of course, it's to heal together, as we say, but how can I heal separation when I am seemingly perpetuating it in this way at the same time? Because that's how it always is. You're seemingly perpetuating it in the middle of seemingly, you know, it's not even in a dream, you're perpetuating it. In the dream, it's all seeming. The dream is even seeming, but you know, it's not even like anything else but extending time. I seem to be extending time. You can say it like that. I seem to be extending time. How can I use this for collapsing time? How can I use this for seeing through the illusion? That's really the same thing. You really don't want more time, but you have to have more time because of projecting. Okay, you really don't want more time. But while you're projecting, that is also the opportunity. It's not like some of it can't be used. It's all to be used. Anything can be used for healing. Even the birds and the animals get together to hang out within the illusion. But when it's all moving to death, why link up with a partner just to watch them die in your dream, just to get more identified and suffer? Again, you don't have a choice in whether you hook up with a partner. So that question is just driving you crazy. You don't need that question. A lot of these whys, maybe all of them, I don't know. A lot of these whys are totally ego games. What else are we supposed to do with time? Time is for healing. That's all it's for. And anything that seems to transpire within time is for healing as well. So it doesn't really matter what transpires in time. You know, getting kind of like mental on this thing, mentally gripping to this thing about partnerships and, oh, I just want to avoid it and stuff like that. That's where you're using the illusion for the ego's means. Okay, you want to do something. It's like you're serving the ego in that way. You want to prop up the world. What else are we supposed to do with time? It's healing. And you know, it's beautiful and magical if you just let it unfold, because it's just unfolding so magically. Like, who knows? Here's a person, oh, they seem like they have a potential to be long-term, right? And then you then you go, oh, wait a minute, I'm just projecting this. This could go any way. In fact, I can find myself really hurt. Whee, what fun. Just enjoy how it goes, because you're never even affected by these things. You don't actually get attached. The ego gets attached. You're watching a show and believing that you're the one being attached. The ego loves it when you say, I'm going to try to avoid relationships. This is great. Just try to avoid anything. And the ego is stoked beyond compare. There doesn't seem to be any motivation to participate. It doesn't matter. You're going to participate, but it's not in a depressed feeling. It's like, yay, I'm not participating, right? Okay. We're not really doing anything, but it seems so. It seems as if there is a life and a world and we interact with it, even as the watcher, the one playing the game. Wouldn't you want to make the avatar to be happy to match the truth? Exactly. That's exactly right. But who's making the avatar's happiness dependent on illusion? That's you. Yes, we want the avatar to be happy. Yes, because that's the natural state. You know, that let's say it's closer because the avatar is in a reality. Let's say it's closer to the natural state of who you are. It's more true, right? So yeah, of course we want the avatar to be happy, but it's never going to be happy as long as we're committed to the concept that happiness comes from things going our way. That's the whole thing. Of course, you're trying to make happiness. This is the same thing that the New Age thing is teaching about, you know, if you want to be happy, you gotta create your life, right? There's the same kind of thing, and you got to create your life. Is you're saying the same kind of thing. It's like as if you don't create it perfectly, you're not going to be happy, right? You are happy no matter what. You're only happy for no reason. You're not happy for any reason. Or you made this avatar as if it can only be happy if certain circumstances go a certain way. And the thing is, however you see yourself in any kind of circumstance, that's for one thing. And you know, it's for you to bless blessing. There's nothing to wake up. We're just watching time go by. There's nothing to achieve, nothing worthy in the world. Yes, it's all true. And yet, don't we find ourselves behaving as if the world is real? Don't resist. It's okay. You got to watch your conditioning play out. When your conditioning plays out in the light of your awareness, that's where healing happens. We find the happily ever after, and it still ends in perceptual death. Right. It's not a happily ever after. I mean, these relationships that are long and ongoing, we go through trials. We go through perceptions like, you know, they didn't do it right, or they could have done it better. I was sharing last week. I saw something on Facebook where someone said, do you have the kind of ladies, do you have the kind of partner that where you could just be 100% feminine? And man, I felt myself get triggered. I'm like, no, I have to be fucking masculine with my partner. You know, in my fucking relationship, I've got to be like fucking know what's going on and do all this different stuff. And immediately it's like, there it is. There it is. That's the projection. Something's wrong. Like, no, I feel like I've been gypped, man. Why can't I just be feminine all the time? Always in a receiving state, apparently, right? But this is in the apparent. I can always be in a receiving state. It's just that when I try to rule in that way, like I want to make everything go a certain way in this world. See, in this world that we made, the way it's set up to look like we don't rule it, but we still do. You know how we rule it? We rule it by our choice to look on the meaningless as meaningless. That's how we rule the world. We look on the meaningless as meaningless, and that just allows love to expand. So see, we can accumulate these kinds of things, and that, you know, I've heard it called samskara, right? I think that's in the Buddhist tradition or yoga or something. But I like that word because it just feels like it's got a certain tone to it that just feels like what it is to me, right? It's like it leaves almost like it leaves a scar in your being that makes you stress out and upset, and it makes all of your relationships sour. Not just the one with your partner, right? Your partner's always going to show themselves to have shortcomings to you. And you know what? If you think your partner never shows any shortcomings to you, you're in denial. You're just in denial. You're projecting those shortcomings. They're not really any shortcomings. You're projecting those shortcomings, but there's a reason for that. It's to come back to love. So here's what couples do. They deny that they're even having that feeling. And then what happens is it comes out in different ways, and relationships turn sour over time. Okay. So it's like we make these little samskaras in our relationships until they get to the point where it doesn't work anymore. And here's the thing, death is the point where it doesn't work anymore. All right. That's how it goes. It's like it's like from the ego's perspective, we're only getting in relationship to kill each other. Okay. The ego's happy when there's a dead body. That's where it's like, oh, thank goodness. Now this illusion can keep on going on. Okay. So if we want to keep each other safe and healthy, which we do, it's to see whenever we're reacting to a partner, and that is our own reaction. That's our own projection. And really that goes for anyone, child, anything. I know people have like major things with their children. So it's so cute. It's like, and I know, because I had major things with my child. I mean, you've read my book, Unschooling for a Parent. Yeah, I had major things with my 3 children. And once you see through that, they can be anything. The child could be anything. You know, they could be the worst teenager you've ever seen. They could be running around like punching your walls and shit, and you're still like, I love you. That's all. It isn't a thing, right? But when you are identified as the separate self, whatever they do, you know, like there's this, oh, teenagers, oh my God, they're so hard. Well, you know what? You know, you're hard on yourself. Otherwise, everyone and everything, no matter what they seem to be doing, and that's where the ego gets it screwed up, is thinking that they should be behaving a certain way so that you can feel okay. No, embracing everything, you know, is it being in an embrace with it. I know when my kids were younger, I was not in an embrace with it, right? And man, did they seem like a pain in the ass. And it was so funny because if you go back to that time period, which was like around 2012 to 14, probably 10, 12, 14, something like that. You look on Facebook, the things I'm writing about are about how none of this stuff is true. Meanwhile, I'm going through that. I'm actually going through that kind of thing, even as I'm writing about it, about how it's not true, which helped me out a lot, helped me see. Also, it was very intense. So it is very intense seeing through your conditioning when you're used to projecting that someone else can have some kind of power over you. So that's an example of the world ruling you whenever you think like a teenager's tough or this particular personality is difficult. If they're not endearing to you, no matter what they seem to be doing, you're making illusions about yourself and you're basically murdering in your mind. Okay, you're setting up death. I'm making a shift. I wanted my legs up, apparently. Okay. Yeah, okay. Anne, I think we took care of this. I also wrote something to Anne. Not you. No, this is Anne Marie. Different Anne. Yeah. Do you think I was talking to you the whole time? No, you didn't. Okay. So here's what I wrote anyways. All of your attachments are useful because of what they're for. Okay. Just like kind of like what I just explained a little bit more in detail. Your guide, the Holy Spirit, or whatever you like to call it, can use anything for helping you see through the world you invented. So the key is not to try to avoid attachment, but it's willingness to use attachment for the purpose for which it is intended. Nothing needs to be avoided, but even avoidance can be used for healing. So if you find yourself in avoidance, that's also used for healing. You know, it's not time to start slapping yourself because you're avoiding, right? There is no ever after when it comes to illusions. There are still perceptions of death because there is a wish for death, which has not yet been seen as meaningless. Okay. So that's the quick one. I loved it. And I just really wanted to have fun with it online too. Yeah. I know that love relationship thing can be kind of sticky. Any of them really. I hear people suffering, suffering over all different relationships, but the thing is, no matter what form they take, you're only relating with yourself. It's only you. So, like Niall with your caring neighbor, and you look at her like that, it's so much compassion can come to you. And you're like, what am I here for anyways? Am I here to have a peaceful living situation? No, that's not what I'm here for. It's like when you go, oh, this is exactly perfect for me for what I mean to use the world for. I mean to use the world to see through it and to help all my friends see through it. All my friends and family see through it, right? That's what it's for. So Karen, my neighbor, I bless you. Thank you for helping me see. I bless you. Thank you. What saying I hate her, you can be endearing with that. It's sweet. It's a misguided image that you made. And it's like, I noticed what you wrote here too, because of keeping the peace. It says, I don't have company over because of keeping the peace, contemplating moving, or being an asshole. Either one of those is just leading to death. So it doesn't really matter which one you do. You can move or be an asshole. But behind all of the manifest things that you seem to do, you can heal it. See? You can hold it in a certain way in your mind. And you can heal the situation where you're happy when you seem to get a trigger over Karen. There's another opportunity. You're like, there's an opportunity. Yay. I'm glad that seems to be happening. Okay, if you're writing to me on Facebook today, which I don't know if you are or not. Some days there's a whole heck of a lot more comments than other times. If you are, I don't see them. I don't see them yet. Maybe I will. So it's really been coming up for me lately about just to expound on that. There's no creating in this world. There's no creating here. There's only choosing. That's your creative power. You choose to see the meaningless as such. That's creative, because it's allowing you to see through the illusion. And it's also creative because it's nowhere in the ego's repertoire. This is the same power that allows you to create, because this is God's mind, right? You look at it like this. I know some of you guys trip out when I say God. So just like replace it with creator or something. That's just some weird ass conditioning. It's like a sting when you hear the word God or something. That's great to see through that conditioning. You can say creator. Okay. So each of us is a thought of the creator. The creator only thinks in one way. The creator only thinks lovingly, right? So each of us is a thought like that. So there's no creating here. We didn't create this. We made it up. The creator's thought doesn't include death. It doesn't include guilt. It doesn't include pain. It doesn't include aging. It doesn't even include taking a shit. Okay. So the creator's mind is not what you're perceiving here. You're perceiving a dream based on denying the creator's way of thinking. See? So all these new age type things about start creating. I got one email today. It was hilarious. Is there a gap between who you are and who you want to be? Let us help you. I'm paraphrasing and being a little bit facetious too. Let us help you, join this video, pay us a couple grand, and then, that gap is going to be filled in. The thing is, the gap is imaginary, and you're never going to fill it with imaginary things. You know, anyone who's asking you for money to help you fill your spiritual gap is basically a charlatan, which is not a problem. It's perfect. You want charlatans for a while. That's what you want. It's kind of like blowing smoke up your ass, or tickling yourself with a feather or something. It's like let's pretend like there's okay, I gotta pretend gap. I'm pretending like it's real. So now I want to pretend like I can fill that gap in with some stuff. And guess what? No one's ever successful, right? I've talked to plenty of people. No one's ever successful, except you see these images of supposedly successful people, like they're all slick, they're all corporate and everything. And to the world, it looks like, oh, they have exactly what I want. I want all the money and I want all the comforts of the world. Right. And supposedly that's the gap that you want to fill, to where you have all the money and you have all the comforts of the world and you have really happy relationships and everything like that. The thing is, your home is not here. You're only passing through. Your home is not here. One lifetime, it's like a wisp. It seems like a long time because of the way it's stretched out, but it's like a wisp. It's like, it's so nothing. So when you use it like that, you're making more lifetimes and more death. When you use it like that, that's what it's all about. And I'm not going to put these people out of business by saying this kind of stuff, because there's plenty, as long as they're putting it out, as long as they're putting out the goods like that, these programs or things that are aimed toward filling in that imaginary gap, allowing you to create what you want in this world, there's also people who want that. And that's perfect for them. You're coming to Wisdom Dialogues. This is a way different tone. This is a way different tone than what you're going to find. And since you're coming to Wisdom Dialogues, you're attracted to that tone. So that's awesome. So you can hear this. It doesn't burn your ears so much. Might still burn your ears a little bit, but a lot of people can't even listen to this. It's just like, that lady is, she's crazy or whatever, which, yes, it's true. Whatever you made of me, it's true. I have one friend who's constantly, and it's so sweet. I know he loves me so much, like even in his mind, in the illusion, everything, he's like feeling this endearment toward me. But there's a self-hatred that causes him to project onto me. And and the thing is, the self-hatred, yes, it's one mind. It all comes from me, which makes it awesome, because then I'm given what I need to heal it, which is awareness. Like I have the awareness to heal it, to heal that thing. So he'll like make little digs on me all the time. Anything I say, he's like a hawk. He wants to show me, wants to reveal to me that I'm full of shit and that I'm stupid, right? So I've told this friend before too, if you're trying to convince me that I'm full of shit, I already know, okay? And and it's fun because I'll sense a trigger from it, because it's almost like I feel like I got kind of like a monkey on my back, almost like it's like I can't be myself because I got this friend just constantly criticize me whenever I'm around him or something like that. And I love that. I love that. And and I don't know how long I'll be drawn to hang out with him, but it's like I'll just sometimes I'll just see him and go, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with him. And for the moment there will be like amnesia, like I'll forget that that's even the thing, which is perfect. I'll forget that that's even a thing, and then it'll come back again. The thing is, I know it's for healing, and it makes me very endearing to him and compassionate toward him, because this is a call for love. He is hurting. He is hating himself. Okay. And so in hating himself, someone that he even thinks he loves, he does love me, and he also thinks he loves me. And someone that he thinks he loves, he's going to be unknowingly, unbeknownst to him, kind of pushing them away. right? Because I'm pushing people away. I mean, unless the person is glutting for punishment, they're going to find themselves hanging around with him. For myself, I know why I go into any kind of situation, for it's all for healing. So I don't have a trouble with getting a trigger, but when a trigger arises, I'm using it for healing, and I'm just so grateful for it. Do I find myself hanging out with them a lot? No, not drawn to that kind of vibe very often. But when I am, I'm so grateful. And when I forget that that's how the relating is. And see, I love forgetting because I never know how it's going to go. So I don't like to predetermine anyways. But it's like, it'll come up and it'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cute. Okay. And what I do with that is overlook it. So I don't even give it, a lot of the times I don't even find myself giving it a response. If I do, that's okay with me. I have before, like the one, if you're trying to tell me I'm full of shit, I know it's okay. Right. And it's like, Hope, I agree with you on so many things, but then there's a certain things I don't agree with you about. And I'm like, well, that's okay. And the energy is, let's get into it. Let's hash it out. I'm like, I really don't give a shit. I actually don't care. I love you. You can have any opinion you want. You can agree or disagree or whatever. I'm not even in the agreement thing. That doesn't even mean anything to me. All right, Natalie, to add to the theme of annoying neighbors at the music festival this weekend, I had people encroaching on my tent space. Dang, those fuckers. So I found myself moving my tent, realizing that the annoyance was for healing, yet moving anyways. Yeah, you don't have a choice in whether you move. It's not like you have to try to make yourself. That's also resistance, just trying to make yourself stay somewhere. When you realize that you don't have a choice in the movement, it makes moving or not moving really easy. And there's no agonizing over which one it is. Then in the new spot, my tent broke. And it was just so funny. Then it got even crazier. That's what you get for going to those fucking things. I'm just kidding. Then it got even crazier with no matter where I choose to put the tent, people keep on encroaching on me to the extent where, wait a minute, you went to a festival though. That's how it is. People want to just pile up on each other. They keep on encroaching on me to the extent where this morning at 7, these kids pulled up and blared music right at me. Even though there were tons of open acreages apart. So obviously I was doing this to myself. And you're cracking up. I know it. I love that. And it felt good. I love this, Natalie. And it felt good to move through the upset. Yes. See that? That's a really good example, Nael. So you can actually feel really good with this Karen that lives next door to you, right? You can actually feel really good about it, especially because of what it's for. Speaking of encroaching, is the sun encroaching? Probably not. It's been rainy as heck. It's like the sun popped out of one tiny little hole. I see a few holes that way. All right, where are we here? Yeah, that was great. Thank you, Natalie. Thanks for that share. That's what it's like. See, I had a friend call me up because I was blocking with him, right? And he's like, wow, this is really great. I invite people to come over if they want to block it up with me so they can experience what it's like, see if they want to buy it. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I don't make any money off of it at all. But I love when my friends get that sense of relaxation. It feels so good to me too. And when they discover how to access the pain, right? It just stokes me out. So my friend's over here and I'm blocking with him and he loves it. And he's like, I'm going to get the blocks. Well, I don't even realize it. He's got the blocks now. Right. So he calls me up and he's like telling me, Hope, I have the blocks. I'm wondering if you can help me because I just feel so frustrated. And, he wanted to get to the dance too. There was a dance going on yesterday morning. He wanted to get to the dance. And then he wanted to go home from the dance and like just spend days on the blocks, just like sinking way in, So he didn't feel like he had a lot of time. And he was really glad I picked up the phone because he's like, I need some support. I don't know how to use their website. Well, their website, it sucks a little bit. It's a little bit slow. I can put up with sucky things a lot when it's when I like the rewards. So I'm like, okay, I know something about that. And he keeps repeating to me, he's frustrated. And he's a guy who comes to Wisdom Dialogues too. And I go, so you know why you're frustrated though, right? It's not really about the block. And he's like, no, I don't know. I go, okay, well, it's because you're projecting frustration right now. Okay. So he's like, okay, but I really need to get this done because I got to go. I'm like, okay, no problem. You know, it's like, I didn't even mention anything until we were a little bit further into the conversation because he kept on mentioning how frustrating it's making him. You know, I can kind of tell that he wasn't open for a lot at that point because there was this sense like, I got somewhere to go. I got a schedule to do. I got to get this laid out. Hope, please just help me. So anyways, I helped him get it together on the block thing. And, you know, we'll deal with the frustration thing at another time. Just like there's a little tidbit in there. This is what it's for. And yeah, every single time that's what it's for. I talk to myself like that too, in a gentle way though. It's not like, what are you getting upset for, bitch? Right? I don't talk to myself that way. I don't use that word on myself because it has a certain tone. It doesn't really feel good. That's why you don't hear me saying that to my friends. Now, do I have friends that say that to me? Yes, I do. And I love them and I don't mind. I have friends who refer to me as bitch. I'm like, thanks. They're saying it in an endearing way, you know, and it's, and that's totally fine with me. I don't know how it should go. It's just not a tone that's for me. That's all. That's my husband. He can't stand it. I know it's burning the ears. So why is it, look at it like this. Why is it a problem though? I mean, can you just ignore me? Can you just if you love me and you want to be in relationship with me, but you don't like the things that I say, can you just ignore the things I say? See, if you can't ignore the things I say and you're using them to trigger yourself, that's because hearing it has maximal healing potential for you. And I'm so happy that you hear it when you think you don't want to. Peter, I love you. Okay. Sorry about all this. Sorry, not sorry. I know it's perfect for all of us. And I know it's not easy. Hearing some broad like me rattling on about things that you completely disagree with. Yeah, maybe put your headphones on. I don't know. I had a call for love come up Saturday. This is Zabri. I had a call come up for love Saturday. A call for love come up Saturday. I think I did all right. Of course you did. Not sure anything changed, but I'm glad I did my best. Perfect. Yeah, it's the best, Zabri. It really is. When you're willing to see, that's maximal. It's as much as you can possibly do. Just a little willingness to see, as much as you can possibly do. So that's awesome. Something did change. You don't perceive the changes. The changes, you don't perceive them right away. Something did change. Something did shift. Every time you're aware, something shifts. You know what? You grow to be more alert and more ready for these kinds of things when they arise. You have your headphones on, Lori? Nice. Don't have to be triggering your man all the time. Huh? Ah. Your senses aren't to be believed. They're for entertainment. And everything that you perceive is coming in through the senses. I heard a question. What sense, if you had to lose one of your 5 senses, which one would you not want to lose? Which one would you absolutely not want to lose? You know, I heard that question posed and I was just like, does it matter? The senses are nothing. And whichever one you do lose is the perfect one to lose. See, we tend to think about things like this, but we don't need to. Whatever you, if you're meant to lose a sense and you lose a sense, that's perfect. Smell, because what if there's a fire? That's awesome, Zabri. Nice one. Great. Nael, my love, you are on.
Hi, Hope. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank
Thank
you.
you too. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you too. I appreciate it. Appreciate the show. I thought about a little bit about the question I had earlier.
Yeah.
I recognize that I've never gotten along with my neighbors.
Nice.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
sent one to the hospital once. I've thought about like contemplating killing one of them once, and I went pretty dark on a couple of my neighbors. So I think I might be the person with the issues here.
That is so good to see. It is
But-
so good. Because that's a turning point once you see that.
Yeah. I mean, I have a good excuse for the reason I send them to the hospital, but I mean, but I mean, it's every neighbor,
Right. That's
every
right.
something. I'm just not. I'm very nice, but when I'm not nice anymore, I go the extremes.
Right. Yeah. That's that anger. That's that anger. See, so Nael, you know, I've had some conversations with you before, and
Yeah.
you know, it seems like your anger stems from your childhood because you've had such an intense childhood, such intense childhood experiences. But the thing is that you have dominion only now. So see how it's going to be a challenge now because you have been practicing this for so long. But when it comes up again, and that little bit of willingness that you give to see that it's you is going to
Yes.
help you so much.
Yes. It's interesting the emotion I'm getting right now. I just feel like crying just thinking about it. Like it's just so much it's almost like it's a call for love, I guess, when it comes down to
That's
it.
right.
Mm.
That's right. And remember that the call for love is always coming in your name.
In my name.
That's right.
I pick these Karen neighbors or these people because I want to experience whatever's coming towards my life. So
You
I'm
want to
creating
heal it. Yeah.
in order to heal it.
You want to heal this angry sense that you made real. You're
Right.
using them for that. That is and that's proper. I mean, it's the way to use them. It's the way they want to be used by you, to use your perception of them for healing. In that, you're getting the relief right away.
Yes. Yeah, I had my kids over yesterday, and as soon as it turned 10 o'clock, I found myself stressed out. I felt myself like, oh, I don't want them to be too loud. And I was just like uneasy. And then I was like, fuck, I pay all this money to live in this nice place. So, and I can't have my kids over. And I was angry,
Yeah.
And I my neighbor today, and I felt just like punching her in the face. I just like, I feel that anger just because I have to be quiet after 10 o'clock. And I'm being honest. I mean, that's how I feel.
I love it. Thank you so much. And so notice when I know what you mean about that. It's like it's a sense that you feel like you can punch someone. I've had that sense before too. You feel like you could just punch someone. I've had a sense that I felt like I could throw my baby out the window. Right?
Yes.
It's like these things are just insane things that pop up. But look at it like this. Behind the scenes, in secret, it's like you're punching yourself in the face already.
Okay.
Okay. So when you kind of turn it around and go, oh, look what I want to do to myself.
Mhm.
This is
Wow.
what I want. This is what I wanted. This is what I want to happen to I want to happen to me. And the reason we think we want this to happen to us is because we think we've done something so bad. It's so unforgivable. So we're projecting the unforgivable onto other people to try to escape it. It's really insane what we're doing here. Okay,
Okay.
we're making a world so we can run through it, so we can try to escape the fact that we think we're not unworthy. We're trying to escape it. We're trying to make our own worthiness. That's what all this create your own reality bullshit is and everything. But the
Wow.
thing is, it's like you're taken care of by the creator, and you're totally abundant. All your experiences are coming exactly as you need. So
Yeah.
you can see how you're punching yourself in the face.
Right. And my ego keeps telling me, well, you're such a good neighbor. Like, what the fuck is she bitching about? Like, you're so quiet. You don't even like, I start excusing myself of what a good person I am, right? But I know it's like a trick.
It is a trick. It is a trick. We always see, here's what we tend to do with the ego's guidance is to paint the innocence over ourselves and put the guilt out there. Right? Because we feel that we're so guilty. It's because we feel that we're so guilty that we're painting innocence on ourselves. The guilt is scary because it demands punishment. And we're projecting it outward so everyone else could have the punishment because they're bad, and that saves us to the ego. But it doesn't save us, as you know, it doesn't save us from anything.
Okay.
So always, that's my thing too. Like I think I was talking about it on Friday, which I haven't posted yet. I will. That thing was long. Oh my gosh, it was like 2.5 hours, and then it ended up being like 4 hours. It was really fun after the fact, after the thing was turned off. My goodness. But yeah, I was talking about that too, about how what the fuck was I talking about? I forgot. Anyways.
Well, I really appreciate you talking about relationships too. Because that hits on the spot, and and it's really cool. I found myself being triggered too by the way you asked Tony, that you asked him like, hey, I'm not gonna, or that you told him I'm not in it for that energy here,
Yeah.
like, and it triggered me because my wife's done that shit to me a couple of times, and I'm just like, in my mind I'm just like, well, that's bullshit. Like, why
Right.
I gotta put up with your shit and you don't want to put up with my shit. But then I went deeper and I asked my wife, I'm like, okay, let's role play to this. Let's feel into it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's like none of us needs to be, I get it. I finally got it. Like I could, because it's rare that we butt heads like that. But when we do, it's intolerable to continue on
Right.
like just faking it, because we're not like
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like there's certain energies that I can't go for, and I know it.
Yeah.
And I can't fake it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to be in a fake thing. And it's like when we're, like when we're like me and Tony, or you and Amy, we know Amy knows that you want connection with her, not disconnection. So she's going to communicate with you rather than keeping it inside of herself and waiting until you're the biggest asshole in the world and she has to leave you.
Yeah. Right? But the messed up thing is that I could do that, right? I could half-ass it, and she can't. She's like righteous. She's like, nah, man, I'm not gonna play this game of like we're upset but we're still okay. Like,
yeah,
that's not I don't do that. And I can't. Right. I can be like, I can half-ass it and be like, okay, we're okay, but I'm really pissed off at you.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah, because you're not pissed off at them.
You're not. No, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You're not, but you're holding on to that energy because you want to feel like a victim.
That's right. I do. And the thing is, you're not going to be using me for that. Exactly. I'm not that broad.
I get it. And I was like, my wife was clapping and throwing the party while she was doing this. And I was like, well, that's fucked up, man. What about Tony?
Yeah.
him. And of
Well,
course,
you know what? He's a hell of a lot happier now and seeing through so much stuff.
I see that.
It was
Yeah,
such a transition. It was huge actually.
nice.
There was this resistance to it. And you know, I was even surprised at myself because I wasn't letting up.
Right. No, I get it.
And that's not typical of me. But
Right.
I was like, wow, this must be important. I'm not letting up on this fucker.
Yeah, no, it's a very beautiful gift, and thank you for sharing that and helping us see.
Yeah, well, thank you too.
helpful.
You helped me just the same in just the same way. I mean, we're together. We're going together. See?
Thank you, Hope. One
Yeah.
one last question, since I
Yeah.
have you there, if you don't mind. What is your take on depression?
It's just like any other feeling that comes and goes.
Okay.
It's not any different. Let me see if you guys can get a better view of me if I go this way. Because the sun's really not annoying to me at all right now because it is freaking not that hot these days. You wouldn't believe it. It's almost August and we're in Hawaii and it's like not that hot. Yeah, depression's just like any other feeling.
Right.
Weird view. Put it over here again. There I am, way over there. Hi, everyone. Yeah, depression, it's just the same thing as any other feeling. You got something wrong. If you're feeling depressed, you've got something wrong. Now, I had one friend, is she on right now? No, she's not on. She popped off, but she was telling me that she was depressed for 3 months. Okay. The only reason you're going to be depressed for 3 months is because you were unwilling to see that you made a mistake. You are totally committed to keeping what you made out to be true as your truth. Okay. That's the only way it's going to last. Like I'll get depressed feelings, you know, I'll see depressed feelings. It's just that I know I have to be making something up. And you know what, even just recently, I'm not even gonna like label it depression because I don't know. These labels don't really mean anything. It's
Right.
really fear, right?
It's true. Yeah.
It's really let's say what it is. It's fear because we made ourselves guilty and now we're afraid of punishment. So I got this sense of an upset feeling. I think it was it Saturday? Yeah, it was like Saturday. I was just like alone with my mind.
Nice.
And I was just lamenting on my body, just like lamenting on my body. And you know what? The funny thing is, it was slight, which slight doesn't matter. It's the same as maximal, right? Because it's delusional. It doesn't matter if it's slight or not. But the slightness of it, had it veiled. I was veiled, like the thing was veiled from my vision. You can say from my sight. And not realizing because it was like they were subtle. The thoughts that I was following were subtle and they were small. And then by the end of the day, I realized, holy shit, I've been in it all day.
Wow.
And you know what? It's just like, and at the end of the day, it's just like, oh, thank goodness I see. It's not like it's not like I'm bad for it or I'm wrong for it or somehow I'm unqualified for it or something like that. It's like the drive to follow, the temptation to follow a thought is often not seen because we're so conditioned to automatically believe our thoughts.
Okay.
Right? So it's not like it's a bad thing. Like, man, I was hooked, not realizing I was hooked for like a whole day. And, you know, it also helps just like being there alone, right? And I was basically hanging out with myself most of the day. Most of the day I was just hanging out with myself. And it's like, shit. It's like, you know, just like that body illusion tends to be the one where I'm wired toward, where I'll be like, oh my God, I can't even believe this. It's hangy, it's flabby, it's wrinkly, it's fucking stinky. What the fuck, you know? And I'll go through bouts like that, and it'll be like it'll go to the opposite too. And Anne's always looking at me like, "What the fuck? You're beautiful. What is your fucking problem?" It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that doesn't matter. It's not like that. Is you're wired toward a certain thing, and it's like, of course, like Tony even knows. Like when I told Tony, man, I've been going through it all day. Once I'm like, and he's like, honey, you know you're super cute and beautiful, right? And I said, yes, I do. That is not the thing. I know. Shit, I was at Ecstatic Dance on Friday night, and these
Yeah.
two dudes told me I'm the best looking woman in Puna. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Right?
That's awesome.
One of them goes, well, maybe not the best looking, but I think you're definitely coming in second. I'm like, man, if I'm somewhere in the top 40, I'm surprised. I'll tell you that, and it's like, I don't even, I think they were just telling me that because, I go, hey, you know what? You guys, I'm looking at you guys, and you guys are just like really, really beautiful to me. Really beautiful. And
Aw,
they're like, oh, well, you're the best. And, one of them said it so heartfelt. I know he meant it. And that's just because he has a heart connection with me. It's
yeah,
not like he's really comparing bodies, you know. It's like, it's more like he has a heart connection, and the beauty is like that. It's like, you are the most beautiful woman in Puna. And that's just like because of a heart connection. It's not like comparing things. Like there's chicks running around with really nice, young, tight, silky skin all around me, half
yeah.
naked. Right? There's really no comparing. It's like the bodies are completely meaningless. That is not where the beauty comes from anyways. And it's like, I could say, I know this stuff, and yet something is causing me to prop up a world. See?
Right.
So this thing could be it could be one of the things that I use to prop up the world. Now my goal is absolutely to see through it, right?
Got it.
It's not to
Yeah.
try to get it so that I can like paint this thing up to where, okay, it's not like whatever, but it's actually to see through the world. So I'm not condemning myself for it, and I know that's a common thing for people to condemn themselves about it. But man, my perception will go back and forth. I'll like some days look at myself and go, damn, that's good. Right?
Ah,
And then it'll be
yes.
the complete opposite where I just want to. It's great. It's laughable. So it's like, but it's like once I got the victory, it was like, it's one,
Nice.
right? It's like once I just got the victory. And for me, a lot of the times what I notice is it really does come through with my relationships, and especially at this point, because I know it's not real. So when I just voice it, like when I just say that to my husband, when I just say that to him, I've been going through it all day about this aging thing and menopause and freaking bullshit like this, feeling dry and shit, and feeling like I'm a raisin, like fucking, right? And when I said it, when I came out of my mouth, I get the victory. It's
Yes.
amazing. It's just like it's like you got a witness to it. It's like my husband's like a witness to this is just the ego. And like it's like,
Yes.
it's like kind of like what Jesus says, when two or more are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Mm,
So it's like we take these things like we have to be isolated about it, but it's like, no, look, this is what I've been going through all day. And
yes.
and there's compassion coming from my husband. It was not always like this. But it's like it's definitely more difficult in the earlier stages. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it for you. It was the most painful fucking thing I ever went through. Okay, it's definitely more difficult in the earlier stages because you do feel so isolated. Thank you, Zabri. She said depression is isolation. I have so much guilt too because I was depressed for years and I was only a baby. 1222. What the fuck are you saying? Anyways, I was
So,
depressed for years and I was only a baby. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, the guilt isn't from the past, it's always what's being projected now. Yeah.
so I'm hearing what you're saying,
Hmm.
and I really appreciate everything you said. Today I worked with a young man and I was super happy the entire day. I honestly in a positive spirit, and I'm working with the young man, and he told me that his coach killed himself,
Uh-huh.
and that he was afraid of working with somebody else, and that he's giving me a try. As soon as I said goodbye and just told him like death isn't real, your coach is your therapist is super happy that you're working with somebody else, and just gave him this pep talk. I left, and then I just felt like I don't want to be working with people, man. Fuck this shit. Like I felt like down. Like I've been like not depressed, but just like discouraged. I wouldn't say depressed, but I just
No,
really
you
felt
you
discouraged.
believe that thought. That's all. You believe
Mm,
that thought. I don't want to be working with people. You believed it. It's not true.
okay.
You want whatever is made manifest for you.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that? I don't quite understand what you mean. Like,
Well,
am I,
what what's saying I don't want to work with people is just the ego. And then you're taking that on as if it's you talking. You want whatever connection is necessary for healing. So when you draw lines like that, like I don't want this, that's what's making you depressed. Because you're saying I don't want this, but yet you find yourself in it, right?
yes.
Yeah, that's depressing.
So what do okay.
So
So,
the
yeah.
thought itself, I don't want this, is meaningless.
Okay.
So you notice the effect of the thought. That's how you're hurting yourself. You're making the thought real. That's kind of like a drug addict going for a hit.
Okay.
It's like it's like this thought crosses your mind. I don't want this. That's the ego every time.
Mm,
That's what's
okay.
making you depressed. So it's like and it could be I don't want this for a situation that's also changing, and then you don't feel depressed because it's changing, and it might even seem like you're changing it, right? And then you don't feel depressed. But when you have a situation where you're like, I don't want this, and why do I have to do this? I know this energy, Nael, very well. I
Correct.
don't want this, and yet here I am. Like my whole childhood was like this. I don't want to take care of 5 fucking kids that I didn't pop out.
Right.
I want to take care of these fuckers, and yet here I am taking care of 5 kids. So this whole same pattern start going on my whole life. It just keeps on going like that. I don't want this. Why do I keep on feeling stuck like this? It's terrible. Just last week, I was sitting at my desk, and I just got the worst feeling because I felt like I didn't want to be there. And
Mm,
again, I told Tony, I go, I just have the worst feeling right now. I just feel like I don't want to be doing this. You know what he did? He just walked up and hugged me. And
mm.
it was like I just got the victory right away. And I was enjoying sitting there.
Oh, man. That's so wonderful. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, because it's not like you really need the circumstance to change. You do
Mm,
if it's changing. That's how you know you need it to change. It is changing, right? But if it's
mm.
not changing, you need it to be just like it is.
So the desire to be an ogre and just to run off in the woods and just be disconnected is the ego.
That's the
Wa-
ego. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not you. It's not you.
Uh,
All you want is to use whatever it is that manifests for you for
mm,
healing or seeing
okay.
through. You want to see past, you want to look at and see past this anger thing. Because
That's
you're
beautiful.
really angry for a falsehood. You're angry over a falsehood that you made up and believed.
Yeah, everything about me, I think. I
Hmm.
really do. A lot of it, like a good 95% of it. I,
Oh
I,
yeah. Yeah, we're making it up.
yeah, this is
We're making
great. Thank you so much, Hope, for who you are. Just existing inspires me.
Oh, thank you so much, Nael. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Are you going to
Yeah,
see me when I'm in Nevada?
absolutely. What date are you coming?
I believe I will be flying in there September 15th. I didn't get my ticket to go to Nevada yet. I got my ticket to go to Minnesota. And
Oh,
then from
fun.
Minnesota, I'm going to Nevada And then I'm gonna fly out of Las Vegas back to Hawaii.
Oh, yes. I'd love to
Yeah.
see you. We'd love to hang out. That would be so
Cool.
much fun.
And Ikea will be there too, so will Braun.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, party down, mark your
Yes.
calendar. You
Yes.
sound more excited to see me than anyone in my family, thanks. I'm like, I'm coming to Vegas. I don't hear a lot of party sounds going on about that. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Let's have fun, man.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. Thank
I
you
love
so
it
much.
too. I love
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
I love you
Aloha.
too. Aloha. Mahalo.
Mahalo. So one of my friends was expressing to me, and this was after the recording was off on Friday. One of my friends was expressing to me, he's a young guy, real cutie, red hair, red-headed Jew. It's so cute. Anyways, you remember that guy? He was in there. So it was funny because a couple wisdom dialogues ago, I came and I sat down for wisdom dialogues, and he was already there, kind of like holding court, almost like a mini wisdom dialogues, right? So I just came in, I sat there, and I just waited for my peeps to come, and I'm just enjoying and kind of like listening and meditating kind of thing. So then he leaves, and someone goes, "Wait a minute, that dude who was just sitting here, don't start yet. He wants to come." I go, "I don't think he was actually here for wisdom dialogues, but that's only because he doesn't know how awesome it is yet." So anyways, a couple weeks later, he happens to overhear some of it and ask me about it. And he asked me something about it. He asked me, so you never get triggered, right? And I go, "Oh no, it's not like that. As long as there's a body, there's triggers." So, it's like this perception, like if you get triggered, somehow you're not there yet. And that's why I share with you guys all the time, like how it is for me, because there are triggers. As long as there's a body, there's triggers. I mean, okay, there may be a point where the body is on its way out and you're like really, really light, almost translucent, where you're not getting triggers anymore, but that's not lasting very long. That's a super short time. Okay. While you're getting triggers, you're actually being helpful. Yeah, because you're getting triggers and you're seeing through them. That's helping everyone. And that's the thing. We need to get our triggers. So so we're having that conversation. And the next time he comes, he asked me, like after the recording, he said, "So I'm feeling like I should just put myself out there, just like you're doing with this song stuff." I go, "Yes, of course." And I'm saying the same to all of you guys, even if you think that your knowledge isn't all the way up or whatever, or you're not there yet. It's a process for all of us. There's gonna be the people that resonate to you and can get guided to. It's kind of like you're leading them to their guide anyways. You're pointing them to their guide. That's all that's going on here. It's not like you're giving them anything they don't already have. It's like a little bit of help, pointing them in the direction of their guide. Once they find their guide, they're going to feel so much better, right? They're going to find their inner guide. They'll feel so much better. And that's what this willingness is. So I was telling him, the only thing that would hold us back from anything that we're feeling called to. So he's feeling called, and I know what it's like to feel called like this, when you feel like you're also unworthy. I went through years like that. I felt called. It was such a burden. I felt called to share with you guys, but I felt unworthy, like I wasn't quite there yet. I even got that reflection at home. Okay, like I just wasn't quite enough yet. I still have a ways to go, right? That's never the case though. When you feel called, you're feeling called because there's people that are waiting. They're basically waiting for you, right? They're basically waiting for you to show up. And it's all your mind again. So all of this is for healing your own mind. You don't have to be in a hurry or in a rush or anything. But what I'm telling you is the only thing that's holding you back from being able to express in a forum, if that's what you feel called to do with people or anything like that, is this unworthy feeling, this unworthy concept that you're holding true and making it true. And I know that's why it feels like a burden. I would find myself crying in the shower about this, asking God to please take this away from me, because I because, you know, you get the perception too. No one's listening to you. People think you're a fucking idiot. People think that you are ruining everyone's life. I got that a lot. I'm fucking everything up. You're ruining everything, right? I got that stuff a lot. I mean, I don't know. As paths go, I'm sure everyone has like some challenges and stuff, but definitely being called to share like this, it's a fucking torture chamber while you're feeling like you're unworthy. It's a torture chamber. Okay. Once you get on the other side of that, it's such a joy. It is such a joy just to watch your friends being able to relax, you know, and having, you know, people like Niall just like saying thank you to me, that it helps me, you know, and it's just such a joy to share. But, you know, that unworthiness, that's a lie. That's a lie. And it's not going to get easy until you see through that. So you need to be willing to see through that. And what helps with that is that voice about that you need to get better. That's not one bit true. You don't need to learn anything else. You don't need to get better spiritually. You don't need to be better at dealing with triggers. If you feel the call, you're ready right now. But for that sense of unworthiness that's holding you back, it's making it so that it's hard to express. So for me, I kind of like went through that sense of unworthiness, almost like I'm walking through some molasses or something, you know. I still find myself showing up to do wisdom dialogues, even though I feel like I'm going to pee my pants or something, you know. I even would pee a little in the car, right, while I'm driving. I would be, and that would make me even more anxious because now I got to show up with a pee stain, right? It was bad news, but really good because of the way it showed me. And, you know, I just kept on showing up week after week. Okay, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know, you know, feeling unworthy and showing up anyways. You know, it's like it's like difficult. And now at this point, I just feel really stoked for wisdom dialogues. I don't have a sense of unworthiness around it. And I know that it makes the sharing even that much more powerful. I'm super grateful for that because, you know, I don't have to try to talk to you guys through this sense of being unworthy of talking to you. But I know how it is, and I know what a thing it is. Lori, I totally get what you're saying. I absolutely love talking about it, but I'm so worried. Who am I to talk about it? Yes. And your partner is giving you the same kind of reflection like I got for many years too. So I know how that is. I know how it is. And you know, the only thing, it's the same as anything. You treat it the same as anything. It's not special, it's not different. It's the same as any upset feeling. That sense of unworthiness, to look past it takes willingness to feel that unworthy feeling and recognize that you're making that up for yourself. Okay, because the longer the ego can keep you tongue-tied with this sense of unworthiness, the longer it takes to wake up. Okay, that unworthiness stops you. Yes, I had a feeling someone was being stopped by unworthiness. That's why it was coming out. But I totally see my old videos and see how clear it comes out of me. Good. I'm really glad you see that. That's right. Because it's like once you're sitting there and you're tuned in, it's coming. People are thirsty for the truth. Okay. And it's like when the more of us pop up and we're sharing, the more people are going to find, you know, their guide, and the quicker and faster everyone's awakening is going to go. And that's what we all want. You know, the pain is brutal. I know it was really intense. I know pain can be really brutal. And I'm telling you, on the other side of that, you know, on the other side of that, the recognition that teaching is the greatest joy, because teaching is the same as learning. And so when you're teaching, you're awakening too. It's really wonderful. That's why I'm like so grateful to you guys for showing up with me and like giving me all of this, you know, questions, just your presence. You know, you don't even have to ask me any questions, just your presence, whether I'm even aware of your presence or not. It's like, you know, you give me so much, and that's how we do it. We're awakening as one together. Candy's excited about it too. Candy, let's have Candy Cat over here. I'm sure Lori wants to see her. Come on, Candy. Lori wants to see you. Come on. Remember Candy Cat, Lori? Remember she was gone for 2 weeks in the lava. Our little lava cat came back all skinny and fucked up looking. Look at her now. That was 4 years ago. It's amazing. I know. I love her. She's the sweetest. She's super drooly. She's like saliva, just like pretty much constantly. She loves to be pet. Yeah. Thank you, Phoebe. I appreciate you, Phoebe. Thank you too. Are always making a comment on my video. I really appreciate that. I don't get a bunch of comments on my video. And speaking of videos, I got censored for the first time on YouTube for a Wisdom Dialogues episode from September. I don't know what I said in it, but I think the title was something like "Now is the Time" or something like that. I'm not sure what I said in it, but it had something to do with COVID, why they actually took my video down, a whole Wisdom Dialogues episode. So I think I'm going to switch platforms. It might be a little bit of a process. And, you know, if anyone wants to help me technically, that would be really lovely, just to kind of like make that move over, get it on my WordPress site, kind of like how YouTube is. I'd really appreciate that. If anyone wants to help me with that, just reach out to me. But I'm going to go over, I think I'm going to go over to BitChute. I think no, it's Rumble. Tony told me it's Rumble. That's one that doesn't censor at all. I need to not be censored so my videos can stay up. Well, I don't really need anything. If they all go away, fuck it. We'll start over. But apparently they can pick out something that is in violation or isn't, or something. I think the way they worded it is it contradicts the World Health Organization, right? Probably everything I say is going to contradict their concepts though, because I'm basically telling you the world isn't real. And what gives them power is you thinking the world is real. Okay. Hi, Kelly. Thank you for joining. Oh, you have 4 rescues. This one was actually our cat before the lava. And then we evacuated with her and went over to someone else's house to hang out for a night. And she ran away. And we're like, where's our cat? We can't, I tell our friend, okay, well, you know, if you see her, give us a call. 2 weeks later, she turns up at his house. She's all straggly and everything. He's not even sure if it's our cat. It looks so bad. He's like, I think I might have your cat. Here it is. She looks great now. Look how comfy she is. Her little tail's wagging and stuff. Oh, Candy Cat. That's crazy. I don't know what's crazy, but I agree with you. I am so tech dumb. I hear you. I don't want your help on that, Lori. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Nael. That they banned. They took one of my videos down from September. I know some of my friends like my videos to be up because they like to go back to them and revisit them. You know, one of my friends told me that just on Friday night that she goes back there and like when she's dealing with a particular thing, like she's got notes. She knows what videos to look at for that particular thing, because that's where, you know, I said something where it helped her see through that. So, oh, I know. That's another thought that keeps me from making videos that they're going to censor you. Go to Rumble then. They don't censor. They don't censor. You know what's funny? They don't censor murderers, murders and violence. I know, it's so fun. But you know what else? What was so funny is like there's JP Spears on there, right? I don't know if you guys know who JP Spears. Do you know, Ann? JP Spears is like a comedian guy that does these episodes on YouTube that are totally trashing the system, like blatantly. He's still on YouTube. I don't know. I guess I guess some broad like me coming on and saying COVID isn't real is really threatening. I don't know. With barely any followers, especially compared to like someone like JP Sears. That guy's got so many followers. I don't know. It's probably like in the millions or something. What do I have? 300 and something? I don't know if I'm overthrowing the World Health Organization with my followers, but they're definitely gonna see to it that it doesn't happen. I know him and I've met him. Oh, JP Sears. Okay, cool. Oh, is it Spears or Sears? I don't know. But the first thing that I think of when they censor me, I was like, how's JP getting away with it? I don't understand. This is chaos. I know nothing. Bag the live ones, right? Bag the live ones on Rumble. leave the dead ones lay. We must have all gotten that story, because I wasn't even, Nael was in the same Christian missionary group that I grew up in, but I don't think we ever met, or if we did, we didn't remember when we were kids. But you know, like, our stories are the same. We get, like, you know, the same kind of stuff, like, you know, weird stuff that other kids don't experience, like veil dancing, like the girls are veil dancing, like we're naked and we're like 12 and we're doing veil dances for the whole crowd, like that. But also just like some fun stories. It was wild, and also, like, you know, also really awakening. And you know, and also a lot of abusive experiences that, you know, Nael went through some, I went through some. My abusive experiences were mostly after I left the group, but the person that I was playing that out with was also conditioned by the group, but just not in it. So so it's fun. And then, you know, it's funny because there's lots of things that were going on that were really helpful to us, Nael, like the quiet time. Did you get quiet time too? Like, I got quiet time, right? 2 hours a day, quiet time. Like, that's amazing. What kids do that, right? They tell you, yeah, be quiet. Yeah, he got that too. I thought we did talk about that before. Daily. Yeah. And memorizing verses. I mean, you know, a lot of this stuff is really I mean, even, and then you couple that with the abuse. I know it's very painful, and it's like, fuck it, you know, this is spiritual abuse, right? People might say. I know it's very painful, but it's also very awakening. I feel that these kinds of experiences actually opened us up a bunch, you know, just having these kinds of intensity, and also the quiet, and also, you know, the verses, and just being close to Jesus. I think a lot of us kids, I know I did, a lot of us kids just felt like we were in real close relationship with Jesus, you know, and that's a beautiful experience to have. Just feel like you're in close relationship with Prince of Peace, right? It gives you a sense, it gives you a certain sense and a certain compass for whatever else. And then, you know, we have friends who have commit suicide, you know, because the pain was just so much that they just have to commit suicide. There's no other way out of it for them. So yeah, they say too, awakening can drive you mad, right? You know, it could drive you mad because it's like so opposite of what you think you want from the world. Like for me, I would think, gosh, I just want a normal life. I just want a normal fucking life. I look out and I see like my cousins and stuff, and they're like living a normal life. They're laying on the floor in their living room. They got the TV going. They're eating a bologna sandwich, you know, and I'm just looking at that and like, man, I just want a normal fucking life like that. But the thing is, by going through what I went through, I got the kind of richness that it gives me, you know, it shows me, it teaches, and, you know, it's all, if you have a normal life or whatever it is, it's all perfect. When I was a kid, I thought I wanted that because I didn't realize what the world was for. So I thought I wanted something different than what I had. So I didn't realize what the world was for. And that carried on until I had enough of it. I was like, I have to get out of this. I can't be always trying to avoid my circumstances. I have to see through. And when I realized I had to see through, it was, you know, it was back to Jesus. It was like, thanks. That's a really sweet friend. And, you know, some people get triggered by that word because the name Jesus has been used so much to kill people, right? The Christian Crusaders and And, you know, you could say even churches right now, this is murderous, what's going on, even though it's not like not necessarily, I don't know, some people have different stories, but this is murderous what people are being taught in Jesus' name, right? So there's no, of course, it's going to be triggering for people. And the thing is Jesus is, Jesus is an amazing guide and friend. Okay. Amazing guide and friend. If you would just be willing to hear his voice, he'll guide you really, really clearly. He's clear, the clearest guide I've ever seen. And I think that's why they call him the Son of God, even though we're all one Son of God. And Jesus will tell you that too. We're one Son of God. He'll tell you too that he's not separate or better from you in any way. He's just gone further in consciousness. He's gone further. Okay. So it's kind of like a big brother that's gone further than you have. That's all. It's not like he's a God. There's not a God. There's just God. And everyone is a thought of God, including you and including Jesus, which is the same, basically the same. And, he'll tell you you're the same as him. He's not going to tell you to worship him. That's ridiculous. He'll tell you that the only one who's deserving of your awe is God. All right. And the only one that, not any person, not even Jesus. Only one where awe or worship or anything would be appropriately placed would be God. And that's only because you're dreaming, because in creation, there's no worshiping. Okay. In reality, there's no worshiping. But that's only like, if you feel like worshiping something, it's not like you have to, or you should. You feel like worshiping something, the only thing that would be appropriate would be God, which is same as creator. Okay. So that, again, think of it like this. Creator has these thoughts. They're all of us. These thoughts are perfect. Nothing imperfect comes from the creator. Do you see that? Do you see how you're an extension of that? See, you're also one with the creator, because there's nothing but the creator. So you're an extension of that. Now, the new age thing wants to make you into gods, plural. That means you become a god, which is detrimental. It's only detrimental. That only serves the ego. Okay. It's like when you come up and say, I'm God, like that, as an ego, that's harming. It's harmful to you. Not that you can really be harmed, but it's harming in the sense that you're setting up time to where you're going to feel upset, all kinds of different upset feelings. Okay. And also death a bunch of times. We get so much of that. Okay. This is Phoebe. I once commented to you, what's up, my nigga? And they took it down and told me I was in violation. Was that on YouTube that happened too? Because you said that? That's amazing. That's so fun. I think it's so funny. Oh my God. I got to tell you, that nigger, and I do it with a hard R too. I don't say nigga. I actually say nigger. You know why I say it? Because that word is meaningless and it's been made meaningful. Okay. It's just a meaningless thing. Oh, it was on. That's amazing. They're picking up on that. You know what else I had censored? Someone was asking me what's good about Melissa essential oil on Facebook. And I made the comment and my comment got flagged. Melissa essential oil, alternative medicine, plant medicine, totally censored. Fun, huh? Someone's nervous about this. I think it's pretty funny. Thank you, Hope, for putting your teachings out there. One huge way you have helped me in shifting out of an energy play with people of using thoughts about truth as a retaliation to the world, which always felt anxious, to seeing everything as opportunities to awaken. Oh, yay. I appreciate you too. Thank you for being willing to take that. And thank you for the relief that comes with that. I'm so happy for you. Thank you. I'm celebrating with you. How about the saying, you ain't Asana, Where did you take typing class? Maybe you wanted to use voice. My goodness. How about the other girl? Is that what you're saying? How about the other girl? I don't know. I don't know what you're saying, but you can come on with me if you want. Oh, Max, yay, aloha. Max, there's something about you, dude. Whenever I see a comment from you, I feel so good. I never met you, I don't think. I don't remember if I did. But dang, when you just make a comment on my post, I'm like, ah, Max. Max from Sweden. Thank you, Max. I listen to you all the time. I find so much comfort and clarity from your talk. It's transforming my life. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you. And yeah. Bless you from Sweden. There's only there's no space. Isn't that fun? And then I get to hang out with people who seem to be all the way in Sweden. Yay. All right, you guys, I think we're good unless Asana wants to communicate with me here. I have no idea what the fuck you're trying to say because you can't type. You're still doing it. Oh my God, this is cryptic. You want to come on? It's your hand up. I'm just gonna unmute you and see if you want to talk. Oh yeah, there it is. God, that was great. Oh, did I unmute you? I gotta ask you to unmute. I'm asking through the computer for you to unmute yourself.
Oh, okay.
Here we are, Asana.
I know, right? Oh, what a retard I've been. It's like I can't type on here for some reason anymore.
Hey, you're not
phone
allowed to
is
say
just not
retarded. You
cooperating.
know that?
But here's a funny term of endearment, and it's funny and it's also so true. And it's from certain cultures. It's a saying, it would be like saying to you, "You ain't nothing, girl."
Oh, that's what you're saying. Thank you. Exactly. It's such a good reminder.
But it's true.
Yeah, I know it's true.
You know, although they're
Yeah,
not, it's like, it's funny the way it comes through, but
because
it's like a dual
you know,
meaning.
you know how we make our body the hero in the dream. So
Yes.
it's always good to be reminded, right? That you
Yes.
ain't nothing. Oh, thank goodness. Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that.
I know, it's always makes me happy.
Yeah, exactly. That's fun. All right, well,
Yeah.
if there's nothing else, I'm ready to block. I don't know if Anne wants to block with me, but she looks like she's in a blocking mood. I love you guys. Thank you. I'll be back next week too, and I'll be in Las Vegas, around Las Vegas. I'm going to be visiting my mom in what is it? Bullhead City is the most common. Bullhead City or Laughlin. Those two cities right next to each other. Laughlin's in Nevada. Bullhead City is in Arizona. I'm going to be on that border. And I'm also going to cruise over to Vegas, and I'm going to be there the week of September 15th through the 21st. Akea, my daughter, is also going to be there with me. And so is my son, Braun. So if you want to meet my kids, my son, Blaze, moved out today. I forgot to mention that today. Yeah, he moved out. Yeah, that's what he was doing. He was getting stuff. He moved out. And it went so fast. It was so funny because he was just lamenting. Where did he go? He went to Hilo. He went to rent a room. And it wasn't that long ago. He was lamenting that he still lives with his parents and he's 20 years old. And, you know, I know I mentioned on Wisdom Dialogues about how we were like, dude, you're a 20-year-old college student who lives with his parents. What's the problem here? You know? And he's like, oh yeah, I just really feel like I need to move out. And now I can't move out because I did this thing with my business and I spent all my money and now I don't have any money and I'm back to here. Ooh, this went so fast. Then he's like, I just don't want to do this business thing anymore because he got so stressed. He just put so much pressure on himself. And then he went and he goes, I just want to live a normal life now. I'm going to go get a job. So he went out and he applied to a restaurant. It's called Jackie Ray's. If you're around here, that's where he works now. It's in Hilo. And they hired him there as what's called an expediter. They help with getting the food out. So he didn't realize it, but the guy is making over $100 every night in tips. One night he made $200 in tips. So it went really fast, and he's already moved out. As of today, he's moved out, and he couldn't be happier. He's just so stoked. I told him, well, your habits of being frustrated about certain things, they're gonna follow you. This is exciting. And, all the things that we've been talking about that you've been resistant to, like since you were a little kid and to now, that stuff's going to come in really handy when you start seeing your same patterns playing again. Because, all this thing, like some things that irritated him about living here. One of them is the chickens. I know a lot of you guys have that too on Wisdom Dialogues. One of them is the chickens. And another one, what's the other one? Oh, the way the sunlight comes in his room. It's definitely not because of us. He thinks we are so fucking cool to live with because we don't bother him about anything. I mean, we just don't. There's nothing to bother him about. One day he punched a hole in the wall. Still wasn't bothered by him. You can't do that with roommates probably in Hilo. They're probably going to get pissed. But he's like, let's see how it is. I might be cruising back over here. And I was like, well, feel free to. We'll keep your room for you and you can come back. But it was just so sweet. And I was up with him last night because he comes home from work at night now. So I was just up with him until probably like midnight, just like, talking about things and just having such a nice time, and also feeling like this transition where my son's leaving. He hasn't left. He hasn't even gone to camp. I've been with him the whole time, and he's 20, and he's leaving now. And there was definitely like a kind of like a really a joy about it. He thought I might be bummed about it because I'm his mom, and I said, no, I'm really happy for you. It's different and it's interesting to me, and I'm stoked about it, and I'm glad you're going to have these new experiences. So there he goes. So cute. Yeah, he was so ready to be a big boy or a man. He said, I'm big now. And I'm like, yep, you are big. Where'd he go? What? He didn't even call me. Well, you know what, Akea? It just went so fast. It was amazing. He didn't even, we're talking about it, and we're like, yeah, you could always save up some money for, keep on working, save up some money and do it on the semester. There's different things that come up on the semester for college kids where they get a discount and all this other stuff, right? And so we were, it was just took us all by surprise. He went and looked at him. He was like, yeah, it's a little expensive. Yeah, maybe. He's like, and then the next thing you know, he's putting a down payment on. He came up with $1,400 to pay them right now and made his car payment. Oh, I gave him a hundo. That's right. He's like, Mom, I got double. I just made it to have 1,400 on the first, and then I got double billed by something, and I just need $100. I'm like, go get it out of my wallet then. So because he needed to pay the second 700 today, but he came up with it so fast. So it's amazing. No way, no, there'll be Blaze stories, I'm sure. I'm sure he's going to be back. This morning when he was packing up earlier this morning, he's like, I'm not leaving yet. I want to have a bowl of cereal first. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be back here because, I don't have my life set up like this where I could just go get a bowl of cereal yet in my house. So we've been enjoying it very much. Oh, thank you, Nael. I know my son is so awesome. Oh my gosh. He just amazes me all the time, all the things that he's been through, all the ways he's tried to resist. And also, when he was a kid, I was the most stressed out as I could possibly be. He remembers me like that. And, for a long time, and I think he finally gave it up real recently. I think he finally gave it up. He was victimizing himself for having a stressed out mom, for having had to go through that as a kid. Okay. And also, I told him I didn't want him on occasions. I really felt that, and even more recently, we were having a conversation about that. And I was like, yeah, there were times where I thought I didn't want you. It was temporary though. I mean, you know, and I told him, you know, when you were at your worst, you can say, not that it was bad or anything, but when you were at your worst, I wanted you. And that was in the teenage years, right? I always wanted you. I wanted you. I wasn't like, let's get rid of him at that time. It's like, you know, and that really feels good to be able to want you when it looks like that, right? And my son Braun, it's like, I don't know if this dude is ever going to turn into a typical teenager. He is just such a sweetheart. It is amazing. He's just like, does not act like a teenager at all. He had a big different experience though, because Blaze is like 6.5 years older than him. So he does not remember his mom stressed out. He doesn't even remember his mom ever reprimanding him. Okay. He is or his dad either. He is just the sweetest. We'll see, because he's 14. We'll see. And we'll be talking about it if some dialogue is still going on, which I suspect it will. You guys always inspire me. Okay. The Johnson family rocks. Yeah. Awesome Johnson, Nael. And then you ain't nothing, girl, on the other side of that. Okay. And Akea said yes to that. We do rock. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Oh, Lori, I appreciate you too. You said you didn't want any of us. I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. That's my daughter, Akea, saying this. You said you didn't want any of us. Yeah, that's right. There was definitely a time where I felt like I didn't want any of you guys. You know, the way I was projecting it is like you guys were just like an extension of all those kids I had to watch when I was a kid, watching kids. Right. So the way I set it up is like, I'm like down on myself for ever having kids to put myself in the same situation again. Right. You know, fortunately, I saw through that. And there's a lot of people who don't, but there's also a lot of people who won't voice it. Voice it. It's good for you. Not that you have a choice in it, but I was willing to voice it. You know, I was going weekly to someone who was helping me. Her thing was unpatterning the mind. And I was going weekly to her and I was showing up every week and I was like, yep, I still don't want my fucking kids. You know, I'd just be honest about it. Kind of like how Nael was today. Like, I just want to punch her in the face. You know, like it's totally not politically correct for a guy to say he wants to punch a woman in the face. But you know what? Political correctness notwithstanding, it's fucking true. You get those feelings and we need to be honest about them. You said you didn't want any of us. I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. But Blaze would get really upset. Yeah, I know. He was sensitive to that. I would be like, Blaze, it's not about you. Kids just suck. That's so good, Kaya. That's so good. And I told Blaze too. It's at that time when I was going through it. I go, you know what? It's not that it's you. It's just that you're a kid. Like, you'll see once you're older, I relate with you great. It's that you're a kid and you're my kid and you seem fucking annoying to me. He didn't get it. I don't know what I'm doing. Definitely, I wouldn't talk to a kid like that now because I just feel endearing with everyone, you know. But thanks, Akea. Akea's been wonderful for me because she's been seeing me for a long time, you know, and she's always just wanted me to be happy, right? She just always wanted her mommy to be happy. She also went through some really stressful mom times, you know. She's been very resilient. I love that. I love that Akea got to get all that stuff out by just like, you know, talking a bunch of shit on me. I think that was wonderful. You know, it's like you got to get all that angst out somehow, you know, and just to allow the child to just like go through that, or anyone. It doesn't necessarily have to be a child, you know, and like whatever pain that brings up for you, that's good. That's the thing. It's good. And as we start to see this, the kids are going to be so much more relaxed too. Right now, I feel that all three of my kids are pretty darn relaxed, and we'll see how that goes. It's always a work in progress until we don't see with the body's eyes anymore. Okay. Or we don't think we see with the body's eyes. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'm cutting out now. It's been a beautiful time with you as always. And I plan to be back next week. I look forward to getting that recording up really soon, probably tonight or sometime early tomorrow. Tomorrow, I don't have a bunch of stuff to do for Miracle Botanicals. I didn't see a bunch of orders come in today. That's why. Today was a different story. Oh my goodness. Some days you just get all these orders. So funny. But I'm really stoked that it's just my website now. No Amazon or Etsy. We do it our way. We love people up and we don't worry about stupid shit. Yeah, I mean, today I took a label and you know, we're not good at making labels, me and Tony. Like we just don't know how to do it. So, you know, we get other people to help us. But I took a label and the label is for one of our body oils, right? And the body oil, you can add essential oil blend to it. So someone got the body oil and they added an essential oil blend. It's called Heart. It's my it's one of my chakra oils for the heart chakra. And so they added heart to it. So Tony's like, hey, we don't know how to add the word heart to this label to make sure that they have that blend in there. And I was like, no worries. I'm going to write right on the label. I'm just going to write on it. You know, it doesn't have to be all corporate anymore. We're not selling on Amazon. These people that are buying from our website, they don't mind that we're at home and we're loving them up and we're comfortable. You can't do it yet. Do you need help still? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? Rihan is coming tomorrow to help me. So it's all good. I have a list of ones for her to do. We don't have to do it that often, but yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you, Kay, if I need help. Thank you, honey. All right. Yay. Until next week. Mahalo. Aloha. And a hui ho.